All right, let's just jump right into this explainer. We're going to explore how to take those notoriously dry subjects and transform them into, frankly, thrilling interactive missions for your students. So if you're an educator out there hunting for that absolute perfect hook to grab your class's attention, you are definitely in the right place.
You know, if you've ever struggled to get students engaged in topics like grammar or nutrition science, and let's be real, we all have, we've got a deliciously interactive solution for your toolkit today. And hey, just a quick note on the style you're seeing. Notice our vibrant, pastel, anime-inspired aesthetic focused on active student engagement today. Atau dalam bahasa Indonesia, presentasi ini menggunakan warna-warna cerah dengan gaya pembelajaran dan fokus pada pembelajaran interaktif siswa. Pretty cool, right? Anyway, today we're looking at something totally universal. Food. Every single student has a relationship with it, and it turns out it is a phenomenal educational tool.
Okay, here's our quick roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover the power of food, tackling the sodium problem, decoding nutrition facts, grammar through taste tests, and finally building healthy habits.
So, starting right off with number 1, the power of food as a universal hook for intrinsic motivation.
And that brings us right into tackling the sodium problem, specifically looking at 8th grade health and nutrition science. Now, food obviously isn't just about eating. Bringing food into the mix actually creates this relaxed, novel environment that literally boosts intrinsic motivation and helps stuff stick in their brains. So whether you're teaching 8th grade science or high school ESL, food shifts that classroom dynamic from, passive listening to active participation. For the health section, we start grounded in hard facts. We clearly define the real dangers of excess sodium, like hypertension, to establish exactly why this matters for their future. Teaching them what hypertension actually means makes this abstract health concept incredibly tangible. Suddenly, it connects their daily snack choices straight to chronic disease prevention.
This specific lesson actually unfolds in this really elegant 3-session structure. It basically turns your students into snack sleuths over 3 60-minute blocks. And the best part? They aren't just sitting there reading a textbook. No way. They watch an intro video, they analyze texts, they actually create their own infographics, and then they take on a snack healthy challenge. It's project-based learning at its absolute finest. For example, in that second session, students go out and research popular school snacks. They survey their classmates to build infographics that actually teach their peers about sodium content. Using charts like this one, they document the portion sizes alongside the milligrams of sodium. So they are essentially doing real-world data collection on the exact snacks they're already buying in the cafeteria. How cool is that? Moving on to Part 3, decoding nutrition facts and really empowering your students to be food critics.
Because the absolutely crucial point here is making that jump from theory to practice. I mean, it's one thing to know too much sodium is bad, right? But it's an entirely different skill to actually spot it hiding in your favorite afternoon snack. By putting the old and new FDA labels side by side, your students become detectives. They learn exactly what to look for when they're trying to find healthier alternatives. The new label just makes it so much easier to pinpoint calories, serving sizes, and those key nutrients. It's a real practical life skill.
And when you teach them to decode tricky terms like added sugars or really understand portion size, you're equipping them to dodge these hidden traps in their everyday diets. Like once a kid realizes that a portion is just whatever they happen to eat at one time, but a serving size is the recommended amount, and oh, by the way, that single grab bag of chips they just ate actually had 3 servings in it, their whole perspective completely shifts.
All right, let's pivot a bit for Section 4, Grammar through Taste Tests, specifically looking at the ESL classroom.
So, we're stepping out of the science lab and into the language classroom, which just goes to show how insanely versatile food is as a teaching tool. This JOUT publication lays out some super quick prep steps for a potato chip taste test designed to teach comparatives and superlatives. It's so simple. You just pre-teach the grammar, talk about food preferences to get them hooked, grab 3 types of potato chips, and prep a couple of basic adjective worksheets. Literally, it is incredibly easy to set up, but the payoff in student engagement is just massive.
And this really highlights a huge psychological benefit. Eating in class bridges that new language through a genuine, memorable act. It just makes students so much more comfortable speaking. As the quote points out, it's an authentic way to help them remember new vocabulary and properly use it. Because think about it, when you engage multiple senses, like taste and that satisfying crunch, the memory retention for that new vocab absolutely skyrockets.
Just imagine your classroom during this taste test.
Instead of just rote memorization, students are intrinsically motivated to use their new words to defend their favorite chip. They're playfully arguing with their friends going, "No way, this one is the saltiest," or "Are you kidding? That one is definitely crunchier." They are using those comparatives and superlatives naturally, right there in real time.
Which brings us to our final section, building healthy habits and bridging the gap between theory and reality.
Because look, whether we're analyzing sodium or practicing English adjectives, the ultimate goal of our explainer today is making sure students actually take these skills out into their real lives. And digital integration is huge here. Students can use the Start Simple with My Plate app to set daily food goals, tracking their fruits, veggies, and sodium limits. That USDA lesson plan actually heavily relies on digital literacy by having them use an app, which they probably already have on their phones anyway, to actively monitor what they're eating every day.
And then you have these awesome extension activities, like putting together a classroom electronic cookbook or recording a podcast PSA. It guarantees the learning doesn't just stop when the taste test is over. Plus, by rewarding them with digital badges like Super Sleuth or Star Achiever for finishing these projects, you're gamifying the whole process. It keeps them super motivated to stick with those healthier choices long after the final bell rings.
Food is literally a universal language. So, how are you going to use it to empower your students' minds and bodies in your next lesson? Whether you're having them calculate the sodium in an energy drink or fiercely debate which brand of potato chip is the crunchiest, you have the power to make learning completely appetizing. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really can't wait to see what you serve up in your classroom.